Okay, so over the past 3 years, my business partner and I have scaled a GoHighLevel SaaS company to about $540,000 a month. Just refresh the stripe as I do in every single video. So 539K there. Now, this video is going to be about the exact path to actually get to $70,000 a month as a beginner. And what's going to be cool about this is I'm just going to give you the different revenue marks. And as you can see in the Miro board here, what you should be doing at each revenue level. So 0 to 5K, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, and then obviously 40 to 70. But I'm redoing this a little bit from what we actually did because with a partner, it's very different. If I had to redo this entire company, this is how I would do it, right? And the reason I'm saying that is $500,000 a month is great. We have a business partner, we have a huge team. I actually think if you're doing this by yourself, especially as a complete beginner, I don't think you should be looking at what I'm doing and saying like, "Oh, that's the goal." The goal should be 70 to $100,000 a month with a lean team with 65 to 75% margins. With AI now, it's so possible to do this. It's like actually crazy. And again, I'm not someone who ever has the goal of making millions of dollars a month. That's not what I want. What I want is to have freedom, have a lifestyle business, and not have all this stress, right? So if that's you, this is like I'm making this with that in mind, right? Like that's the whole point of this video compared to how to just get to 500K as fast as possible. Like revenue is not profit. So to be clear, this is a business model where you have lifestyle, you have time freedom, and you're making a fuck ton of money, right? If you can make $50,000 a month profit, dude, or 45, 40K a month profit, you can do whatever you want with your life. You have complete freedom and you have the ability to really just take control of your, I don't know, take control of your entire destiny, I guess. So that being said, let's hop into it. Obviously we use GoHighLevel for everything. If you want all my shit, just click below. But let's actually get into the very specifics of different revenue levels. So 0 to $5,000 a month. This is the time when you're just going to do some research. I will give you a pass to just sit on YouTube for 3 to 5 days. By the way, before I found GoHighLevel and I knew that this was the model I was going to use, I sat on YouTube for, I don't know, 3 months. I was traveling, drinking, just doing a bunch of dumb shit. And I was just like, I knew I wanted to start a business, but I was looking for different business models for a long time. So I was really like learning about business, how it worked, yada, yada, yada. But you don't have to do that. Like I'm telling you, I would love for anyone to argue with me that GoHighLevel, low ticket GoHighLevel SaaS is not the best beginner model that there is. Even if you don't end up doing it or don't end up making it work, it's the best thing to just learn the basic skills that you need to scale any online business. And for the love of God, please start an online business. It's so much better than anything else you could ever do. I would also love to debate anyone on that as well. So in this current revenue range here, 0 to $5,000 a month, this is where you need to understand that it's possible or you're going to quit. This is where the majority of people quit. I would say the majority of people probably quit before they even get a single client. The next majority, they quit somewhere in the range from 0 to $5,000 a month. This is really where either you quit or you get really, really stuck. So if you can make it past this, you're like the success rate just goes through the roof. And understand, like, dude, this is the hardest part. This 0 to 5K, it's hard for a reason, right? For example, like if you're going to dental school, you're going to be a doctor. They make you take all these stupid ass. I only know this because I know someone, one of my cousins is a doctor, and he was just like, yeah, they make me take all these stupid ass classes that have nothing to do with actual dentistry or being a doctor. They're just really, really, really hard. And it really just weeds out a lot of people who don't have what it takes to become a doctor or a dentist. That might be a shit analogy, but in here, you're just learning so many skills and you're going through so much bullshit because you don't have any skills that most people just quit because they think they're doing something wrong or they feel like they're not going fast enough or they just feel like everyone knows something that they don't. And I know this because this was like the hardest. I got, I was stuck in this zone for like 9 months, 8 or 9 months or something before I actually broke past it. And then once I broke past this, I went exponential scale mode. But this is the hardest part. Okay, cool. So, like I said, you either figure out it's possible, which clearly it is because there's channels like mine and there's 100 other channels just like mine who give amazing advice from people who have done this shit as well. So if you think it's not possible, you're just an idiot and you suck. And don't act like it's just not possible and like we're all trying to scam you or some shit because it's very possible. I have a school community. I see messages every single day of people who have done this. So don't use that excuse. Like if you're gonna quit, just be honest with yourself and understand that you quit, and that's fine, dude. I have no shame with people who quit and they go get a 9 to 5 job and they become really happy and fulfilled. So the next step is when to choose niche. Now, what I would recommend with this is whatever you have a natural advantage in. So for me, one of my best friends was a contractor. He had his own kitchen and bathroom remodeling company. And dude, I would hit this guy up. We would hang out all the time, and I would just ask him questions like, "So how do you get customers? Like, what are your margins? How much does labor cost? Like, I would just ask him every single thing I could think of about how the actual industry worked and how the niche worked. And that's really, really important because that allows you to have an unfair advantage against other people. Like I know so much about contractors. I can literally speak their language. I can tell them their problems better than them. And I can just hit their exact pain points, like almost probably better than they even know them. And because of that advantage, it makes it very, very easy for me to sell to contractors because I just know the industry so well. So that's what I mean by find an industry you have a natural advantage in, ask a shit ton of questions. If your mom's a lawyer, work with law firms. If your mom's a dentist, or a dental hygienist, or a dental assistant, or anything in that field, or whatever, work with that niche. If your dad's a pet groomer or a dog groomer, work with dog groomers. Okay, like this is unbelievably important. There is no one best niche. There's just pros and cons. I say this all the time. It's like video game characters. They don't make one video game character that just beats everything. Like that wouldn't be fun. Right? Like it's the same thing. If there was one best niche, everyone would just be doing that niche, right? So you have to understand that because people spend so long circle jerking trying to find the best niche and it just doesn't exist. There's just pros and cons to each. Whatever you're naturally good at, do that. Cool. So the next thing you're gonna do is gonna build a product. Now, what does that even mean? Like, guys, I'll be honest. Now with AI and all the information available on YouTube, product is just commoditized. Everyone's selling the same shit. The idiot down the street copying my ads and copying our stuff has the same exact product we have. Obviously, ours is better. We have less bugs, but essentially they're selling the same shit. So product is just like, don't even stress about this. There's so many assistants and there's so many people that know how to use GoHighLevel. You delivering and building a product is not going to be a problem. Okay. And if you want ideas on what to sell, then just go to GHL Awards. I'll actually just show you. So GoHighLevel Awards 2025. And I go to this all the time in my videos because I can't believe this actually exists and they do this publicly. But you can Google all of these companies, see exactly what they do. These guys all have at least 100 clients. These guys have 500 clients. And these guys have at least 1,000. So you can just go on Google if you don't have any ideas, figure out their shit. And with GoHighLevel, you can literally just copy paste a product snapshot. You can use mine if you want. All my shit's below. Or you can find someone else's. And your whole product is just commoditized. It's a copy paste system, literally. Cool. So the product is the easy part. Now, once you actually decide what you want to sell, whether it's voice AI, websites, it doesn't matter. At the beginning, choose one or two things. We got to like $200,000 a month just selling websites and Google reviews. Like before we added anything else, that's all we were doing, literally. So once you have that one product, what you want to do is you want to outsource it as soon as humanly possible. You want to outsource the technical part. What does that mean? So let's say you're selling a website. You want to build out the website and get it good, right? The first maybe 1 or 2, 3 clients that you get, and we'll talk about how to get clients in just a second. But once you have that and you know how the website works and you know how to build it, you should literally just film yourself completely building out the product, whether that's a voice AI bot, a chat bot, a calendar booking system. I don't care what you sell, but figure out how to like create the product one time and then outsource it instantly. So you can find people on Upwork. What you do is you go there, you hire a project-based virtual assistant. So what that means is, let's say you get a client to pay you $300 a month for, we'll just use the example websites because that's what we do. Let's say you get a client who wants a website, you're charging him $300 a month for a website, and other, like maybe, I don't know, some automations, whatever you choose. You can hire a virtual assistant to say, hey, I'm going to have you come on project-based, meaning you're part-time. When I get a client, I'm going to outsource the work to you. You're going to build it inside my GoHighLevel account. And then all you're going to do is onboard the client. Okay. So you're just going to do a video of you going through the process. You're going to hire a part-time virtual assistant. So you're not taking on anyone full-time because you don't have the money for that. And then they're going to do all the product delivery for you. And that's the hardest and most technical part of GoHighLevel is that. So what this allows you to do is focus on sales and marketing, which at 0 to 5K a month is, I mean, quite honestly, to like 40K a month, sales and marketing is like where 90% of your effort should be focused anyway. Cool. So now let's actually talk about how to get clients. I'm not going to go deep into scripts and all that shit because, again, this is like a broad overview video to give you an idea of what you should be doing at different revenue levels. But there's so much stuff out there on cold outreach. I have exact cold calling scripts. There's so many people on YouTube now. Like 2 or 3 years ago, dude, the knowledge was kind of limited on this, well, especially with GoHighLevel. Like there was a lot of cold calling for like SMA and high ticket stuff, but not very much for websites or just really selling GoHighLevel in general. Now there's so much information on this. Just go on YouTube and figure this out. Cold calls, cold DMs, walk into businesses, whatever you want to do, I don't care. But you're going to have to figure out some kind of cold outreach unless you already somehow have money and you want to spend money on ads. So that's 0 to 5K. And the reason I spent so long on that part is because this is the hardest part. This is the most important thing for people to understand what they should be doing at this stage because it's where most people quit, right? Cool. Where are we? So 5 to 10K a month. Now, this is where you're going to transition to ads. If you're making 5K a month, if you get to 3, 4, 5K a month, you should be spending most of that on, like, you shouldn't be taking any profit. Let me add a caveat here. If you have a family to provide for, all these numbers, you're going to have to offset them a little bit. This is going to take you longer, and you're going to have to hire people at a higher revenue number. So when I say maybe hire someone at 30K a month, you're going to have to hire someone at 35, 40K a month, because you need that extra cushion of money to take care of your family. If you're an 18-year-old kid who just graduated high school and you're living with your mom, bro, you should not even think about the word profit. It's how fast can you get to a high revenue number with good profit. All of your money should be reinvested in the business. So at $5,000 to $10,000 a month, you're going to transition to ads. The reason you're transitioning to ads is because you need something where now you're getting warm inbound leads, because it's going to be really hard for you to scale cold outbound. You're just not going to have enough time in the day. It's not efficient enough. XYZ. Like, you can definitely do it, but you're going to get burnt out. I know, because I don't know how many thousands of cold calls I've done, but at some point, once you have the money, I would even do it before 5K a month if you're comfortable with it. You need to transition to getting people to come to you, and they already know what you do, they know what you sell, and they already kind of like know who you are. Those three things are very, very important. And that's why at this stage, you want to transition to ads. I have a bunch of videos on how to run ads and all that shit as well. Again, this video is just a broad overview, so you know at what stage what you should generally be focusing on. So let's say you're at 5 to 10K a month. At this point, your product should be like a McDonald's hamburger. The reason McDonald's is like such a successful company is they've dialed in how to build a hamburger better than anyone else. Their hamburgers are amazing. Their fries are amazing. Why is that? It's because it's the same every single time. When people go to McDonald's, they know exactly what to expect. They're going to get the same product, the same burger every single time. That's what your product should be. Whether you're selling websites, voice AI, whatever your product is, the onboarding process and like the actual product build should be like butter, right? You should just know your virtual assistant can handle it. She can set up the whole account for you, and all you have to do is then do the onboarding calls, right? Of course, at this stage, and again, you're going to be doing sales and marketing for a long time. 90% of your time here is still spent on sales and marketing, and now you're doing onboarding calls, right? That's really what your time is spent on at this stage. You figured out how to get customers, whether that's cold calling or whether like you figured out how to generally get consistent sales calls and get consistent customers, whether that's, I don't know, that should be anywhere from like at this stage 6 to 15-ish customers a month if you're really pushing the sales and marketing. And then all you're doing is onboarding calls. Now, once you get to 10, 20K a month, somewhere in here, I'd probably, like for me, I did it around 15K a month, and I wish I had done it sooner because I had the money and I didn't have any real responsibilities. But this is where you're going to do your second hire, because at this point, you've done this, you're doing the sales calls, you have a virtual assistant who's building out all the products for you, but you're still having to deal with customer requests, you're still having to do onboarding calls, you're still having to like message clients back all the time, you still have to check in with them, you still have to bother them for their onboarding forms. You're still doing a lot of client communication, and that's taking a lot of your time away from the most important thing, which is going to be always sales and marketing. When you're hiring, you want to think, how can you buy back your own time at this stage to only focus on sales and marketing? Super, super important. At this stage, you're obviously going to train your customer support manager well. This is hard to do, dude. Customer support for this business is like, we are still, that has been our biggest struggle for like the last year, is hiring good, competent customer support reps and having the systems built for them to succeed. So this hire right here, I would really take your time with it and really look for someone good. And again, hiring is a whole meta skill in itself, but look for someone who's competent and really spend your time with this first customer success manager and train them well. You're going to dump more time into this customer success person than anyone else, because this person is going to train your next person, right? Of course, you're still going to do all the training and stuff, but this main customer success manager, like, this is going to be your dog, right? Because this is the person, when you hire a second customer success manager, that second customer success manager is going to ask these people questions. This person, this first hire, like, make sure you do a good job here. Cool. Now you bought back your time, and now you're doing sales and marketing. And guess what, guys? Now you're done with onboarding calls and you're done with client communication. All that time that you were spending and wasting, I say the word wasting because I always think, how fast can I buy back my time so I can do more sales and marketing? All that time is now bought back for you to do sales and marketing and get good with ads and get good at sales. Okay. So 20 to 40K a month. Again, guys, I would have probably hired my first sales guy if I had known what I know now at like $25,000-ish a month. If I was being conservative and I wanted to take as much profit as possible quickly, I would wait until 30, 40K a month to actually hire my first sales guy. But with this, I'm assuming you're at home, you don't have that many expenses, and we want to go as fast as humanly possible to get to $70,000 a month with 65 to 75% margins. which is very doable. Cool. So your third hire is going to be a sales guy. Obviously, you're going to train the sales guy. What you're going to do is you're going to take sales calls. You're going to have him shadow you, and then you're going to split the calendar with him. So depending on how good he is or how comfortable you are, either you're going to be on first priority for the sales calendar, and then your overflow of calls, he's going to start taking them, or you can switch it and put him on first priority, and then all the sales calls that he can't take, you're going to take. Right. So that's how you can do it either way, depending on how good and how fast and how good you are at training these guys. Okay. But you have to make sure this sales guy is competent. Otherwise, he will lose you money. Right. The margins are already hard on the front end of this business. So you have to make sure that you're not losing money on the sales sides of things. And to be honest, sales is pretty simple once you get a good video sales letter dialed in and you have your process, and you should already know exactly how to sell. You should have taken a shit ton of calls at this point. So you should already have this sales process pretty dialed in. And all you have to do is transfer that skill set to your new sales guy. So guess what? At this point, this right here is where it gets fun. It gets really fun because now your sales calls are done, your onboarding calls are done, and your fulfillment is done. I remember this, and this happened a little later for us. This was at like I don't remember where if it was 60, 70K a month. I don't remember where it happened for us. But again, we were also pioneering. We didn't know what we know now. If we had known what we know now back then, we could have done this whole process way faster. But that's why I'm making videos like this. But at this point, dude, it gets so fun. Like this is the only fun time I've ever had once we got to this point, because now you're out of onboarding calls, you're out of the sales process, and you're out of client communication, and you're out of fulfillment. So now what you get to do is you get to kind of sit back and you get to play chess. You get to move the pieces on the chessboard and just move shit around and watch your company grow. So let's just hypothetically say this is at 40K a month. Again, guys, this is going to differ on how fast you want to move, how much profit you want to take. But you're going to hire CSM or salespeople as needed. If you feel like you need more customer support, hire one more customer success person. If you feel like your sales calendar is too booked, hire one more salesperson. That's going to depend on you and your agency, what you're selling, your margins, how much you're charging a month, your retention. I can't really tell you this exactly. I can only tell you at this rate, you're going to hire as needed. Now, all you're going to focus on at this point is marketing and paid organic. So what does that mean? Your time should be spent thinking, how can I fill up my sales calendar as much as possible? And then maybe hire another sales guy. How can I make his job as easy as possible? How can I have him getting the most qualified possible leads on these sales calls? And then you're also building out systems for your customer support representatives. So you're making their job easier as well. What I mean by you're playing chess is you're moving the pieces, but you're also making the pieces more powerful. That's your job as the person playing the chessboard, right? You're not just moving the pieces and hoping they know what to do. You're moving the pieces and making them all as powerful as possible. And you're doing that using your time. Because what did you just buy back in this entire process? You bought back your time and your energy so you can make the chessboard better and make your pieces stronger, right? That's all you're doing. So that's what I mean by you play chess. Now, oh my God, this is a lot of talking. Again, like I'm not even scripting. Like I don't have a script or anything. This is just my knowledge from what I remember going through this shit and what I would do now. The whole point of this is we want to keep this chill. I don't want to have a lot of headache. I don't want to be working 68 hours a week, 80 hours a week. I don't want that. I want to have a chill business that allows me to travel the world and just do whatever I want, really. If you want to build a $1 billion company, like this is not it, dude. Don't follow me. Follow someone else. So yeah. Now, the last thing I want to say is just to simplify this entire thing for you. Like if I could just bird's eye view this bitch, your whole business runs like this. Our business literally still runs like this. It goes outreach, right? Some kind of cold outreach, sell the customer, do the sales call, onboard the person, create the product and outsource the product to the customer, and then retain them with an onboarding call, client check-ins, yada, yada, yada. And at the beginning, you're doing all of this. I want you to think about this. At each level of business, you're doing less and less of one of these things. So you hire out, depending on where you are in the process, to save your time, buy back your energy and your time. So eventually you can get to the point where you can play chess. The whole goal of business is how can I get it to the point where I'm just moving pieces on the chessboard and my time and my energy is not attached to what happens to each of those pieces, right? Super, super important. I hope this helps. If you want all my shit, just go below.